Hello, everybody. Welcome to Expansion Pass here on Bushfish Games. I'm your host and Let's Excited ADV. Joining me is the one, the only Busman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hello. I feel isolated on a planet, being chased by aliens in a suit of orange and a gun of green and a visor of cool. I feel like that means, but okay.
I feel like the 1980s version of the Sega Master System of Alien Syndrome by Sega.
Ed, by the way,
yes.
You know how we've been talking about like doing a couple interesting things?
Yes.
In a couple weeks or months or whatever. Look what I got in the mail today.
Yes. Mine would be here Thursday.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Man, this movie's so bad. So bad. It's fine. For you audio listeners out there, I held up the Super Mario Brothers movie. Not the new one. One from 1993.
Yes. Yeah, that movie already hit $1 billion. I cannot believe it. Not the 93 movie, but the new Super Mario movie.
I know. It's cool.
That's good. So,
congratulations to Illuminations and Nintendo.
Yes. So. I think it's their biggest animated film? Illumination, I think.
Probably.
Okay.
I would be. I'm guessing that it would be, but also I don't know.
Well, if you guys have already read the title, me and Corey are going to have a good discussion because we actually disagree about the topic. But this one, I think, is more of giving our reasons why we disagree on it. So,
shocker, guys. I disagree on something.
Today's topic is about Metroid Prime 4 has the possibility of being a cross-gen title, meaning that not only will it come on to Switch, but Switch Deluxe. That's just my code name for Nintendo's next gen system, like their actual next generation of systems. Corey believes that, like we said, it's going to happen. I say it's not. And our opinions gonna probably showcase why we believe that, and maybe within the discussion we may persuade the other person, the other party, but we may still be at odds by the end. So
we will be.
Hurry.
We will be because we're stubborn, mean, and dumb.
But Corey, let's get into it now. I'm gonna let you go first on why you believe that it could be a cross-gen title.
All right. Well, here's my reasoning, Ed. Okay. So, Metroid doesn't sell extremely well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although Metroid Dread has seemed to have turned the tables on that. A little bit at least. It's sold over 3 million copies, I think. Maybe it's closing in on 4. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked in a while, but it's sold over 3 million copies. Yeah, Samus's fan favorite in Smash, right? But overall, that franchise just doesn't sell well. It's not a 10 million seller. It's not Mario. It's not Zelda. It's a franchise that's really cool and unique, but just doesn't hit the sales markers to keep those games, coming out every year or two, like a Mario game, right? So, my thought process is if they want to optimize the amount of copies they want to sell of this game, right? They're going to put it on the current generation of hardware and the next generation hardware. Because if you put a Metroid game out at the launch of a new console and don't put it out, the previous gen,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not. It's going to sell. Let's say whatever is next, right? The Switch 2 or the Switch U or the Super Switch or whatever it's called, right?
Yes.
Let's say initially it sells 1 million copies, right? Whatever. I don't think it's a secret that the next Mario game is going to launch on this next generation hardware. It's going to launch with the Mario game, I think.
Yes.
Personally, I think.
And I agree. That part I do agree.
And that's going to be like a 1-to-1 attach rate for similar to what Zelda was, right, with the Switch. It's going to be a 1-to-1 plus attach rate. And everybody buys a second or third game usually, I think. But I truly think if you only put out Metroid on the next generation console, it would have a 1 in 5 attach rate, which, a 1 in 5 attach rate for a console of the Switch's selling power is great, right? That's Animal Crossing, that's Zelda, that's Mario Party, probably Pokemon, but it's not great when you only have 1 million units out there, right? That's 200,000 copies, you know? And yeah, maybe it'll have legs. Maybe as people adopt the system, they'll go back to older games. A lot of people do that, right? Especially with Nintendo games. But Metroid, I don't think Metroid is that kind of game. And so if you want to maximize the amount of copies you sell of that game, you're going to have to put it on the Switch also. And that's why I think it's not, and that's why I think it's going to be cross-platform. I think the hardcore enthusiasts are going to get it for the next generation hardware because they're going to want, the nicer, cleaner, smoother version of this game. And then everybody else who's interested but not going to adopt the hardware right away, or maybe can't find it right away, and maybe they're interested. Maybe they played Metroid Prime Remastered for the first time when it came to Switch, and they're like, "Oh, I really like that game. Let's check it out." Or maybe you get some people who like first-person shooters and don't know much about Metroid, and they try it out, right? That's going to be the bulk of your sales, and that's me assuming that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be not come out this year or next year, right? And assuming that it's not going to be a Switch only title either, because that's also a very big possibility, is that it could just be a Switch only title, and then maybe Nintendo will confirm that the next console is backwards compatible, and we won't have this problem. But I think in order to maximize sales, it has to at least hit the Switch, and then the cleaner, cooler, newer version will hit the next generation console. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. That's my opinion.
Okay. So, my opinion is that it won't hit. And to the factors.
Hold on. Before you go into your thing, are you saying that this is going to be a Switch only game or a next generation only game?
A Switch only game.
Okay, because that thought never crossed my mind that you thought it was coming to Switch, that it was only coming to next gen.
Oh, no, no.
I literally that thought literally just crept into my head just now.
No.
Oops.
So this is why I've kind of felt like with the cross-gen part of it, why it wouldn't happen. It's because I still feel like their next system is still far away, and I don't think Nintendo will hold that game for I'm just gonna say 3+ years right now from where we're at. And unless because like we haven't heard anything about retro. We haven't heard of they need more power or what they're trying to do. I know Nintendo is looking at the good sales of Metroid Prime. I mean Metroid Prime Remaster and Dread, because Nintendo reacted to be like, "Yo, we're gonna get more copies out and everything. We're gonna make sure." And then of course they're doing the commercials and stuff, and that's kind of like been held back, but it's in some of their clips and everything. I just feel like retro will be ready to get this game out and everything, and I don't, and unless they have a development kit now for them to know what they're going to do for the next system, I just don't see that happening just yet. And plus, Nintendo needs something big for the Switch, at least after Tears of the Kingdom, or even just for next year and everything.
You don't think that Donkey Kong game that's been rumored is going to come out soon? It's
I
been
I
6
think there
years.
I think there will be a Donkey Kong, but I don't think it's going to be a big game that they need. And it's not a knock to the Donkey Kong series or anything, but I think because Metroid Dread has showed them great sales, the interest in Metroid has reinvigorated this Nintendo to be like, okay, we really need to support this game, because right now Metroid is literally in the hands of Retro and Mercury Steam. I hope I'm saying that right. Um, is in their hands with Japanese direction. Besides Prime, you know, um, I just see that game only being on for Switch, and I think Nintendo rather have a Mario game or something big. I mean, of course, they're gonna have a smaller game to sell off their next console, but they want to have at least a Mario title attached to it, because Mario is the mascot for Nintendo and for their systems. Even though Odyssey came a little bit late, Mario Kart would have to be the replacement. If it was cross gen, well, I won't say cross gen. If it was Switch Deluxe exclusive, it would literally be the Killzone. Um, it would literally be the Killzone game that came out on PS4. How that was just literally the leading first party game for that system, because nothing else was out unless you was playing Resogun. So unless it gets treated in that manner, it's a possibility that that could happen. But just like you said earlier, um, to maximize sales for this game, they would have to put it out for both systems. But I just think that that's too long for them to hold on to that game to really get it out now. Unless they got into some development issues, they're still trying to get bugs out. They're trying to finish up sections and everything, or even do DLC. Who knows? I can understand if that game kept getting delayed before Nintendo said anything about it. If it does hear that 3 year mark and their next system is coming, then I could see that cross generation happening. Because what's going to end up happening is that Nintendo Direct is going to show that this is the one that's coming for next gen. This is the one that's coming for Switch.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't think Nintendo's going to do the Microsoft thing where even if it's backwards compatible, it's going to upscale to that next gen version. I think they're going to just be like, if it's backwards compatible, it's backwards compatible, and you just play it in that way.
Mhm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Nintendo does, right? I mean, that's kind of the big question mark now. Is like I don't know if we can count on Nintendo having backwards compatibility, because they are not very good at that. At since, I mean, yes, they've always supported some sort of backwards compatibility
Mm-hmm.
since the Wii, right? The Wii with the GameCube, right? And then the Wii U with the
Yes.
Wii. Uh but the Switch was not backwards compatible with the Wii U for obvious reasons. Uh
The format switch,
it-
everybody.
Right. But I mean, even your digital games didn't carry over, right? Which is like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even 5 years ago, right? I mean, the Xbox One wasn't capable of backwards compatibility, and then they, worked to their engineering wizardry on it, and then everything there is software based simulation, right? And so
Yes.
I mean, PlayStation still struggles with the backwards compatibility stuff, right? I mean, some PS2 games don't run very well. PlayStation 3 games don't run at all. Uh, obviously because of the cell processor and everything. But like, I think Nintendo is going to have to. They have to have the Switch is so popular. They have to have some sort of backwards compatibility, especially because like they're pushing the eShop stuff. They
Mm-hmm.
created that new account system thing at the beginning of the generation. They um you know I think the way
They
they've been
they got
pushing
they
they
they got cloud gaming. Like just
yeah
like with just for like saving data to make it kind of somewhat easier to transfer. For hopefully they
you mean
fix
like
that
cloud
for
saves and stuff.
yeah. Hopefully they fix all of that when the new system come and you're transferring stuff over because um if they do backwards compatible of course I think they're going to stick with the cartridge format. I don't think they're going to go back to the CD format or even like a mini disc anytime soon, unless
I
there's a cost problem.
I think you're going to see a DS to 3DS situation where the cartridges that you own will play on. I
Mm-hmm.
like this is what I realistically think is going to happen. The cartridges are going to be almost identical, right? It's going to be a DS to 3DS situation where like the cartridges are essentially the same size. Maybe they're gray or white instead of black or something to tell the
Yeah,
difference. But I think whatever the next console is going to be backwards compatible with the Switch. I know a lot of people are worried about it. I'm also worried about it, but I think the Switch is too popular and they've sold way too many games on that platform. They've sold
yeah.
so many games on that platform that it would be stupid not to be backwards compatible. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot
Oh
if they
yeah,
didn't make it backwards compatible.
yeah,
So, I think a lot of these I think Nintendo has a lot to consider uh moving forward. And we've kind of talked about spring 2025, right? I think some people were initially thinking this fall in terms of chipsets and that kind of thing, but I think the Switch is selling too well, and manufacturing and supply chain issues like it just pushed the release date. And I think they want to get one more solid holiday out
mm-hmm.
of this console, and then next year I think when they reveal the next generation console, it's going to be like the Switch, where they're going to drop a random trailer on a Wednesday to tease it, and then they'll do like a kind of have this full on trailer to kind of break it down. Some people think it's going to be revealed at Nintendo Live in September, that live event in Seattle.
Yeah,
I think that's a little ridiculous. I mean,
yeah.
you're inviting the public to see your console reveal. That's not how that happens.
Right.
It would be cool if it did, but like, are they really going to go through the long marketing cycle of the Wii and the Wii U where you reveal it almost 2 years
Mm,
before it comes out? I don't know. I don't think
no.
so. I think the way they did the Switch was awesome, right? Like we heard rumors and rumblings of companies working on this console, which is the other thing too. There's no companies talking about the next Switch, right?
Oh no,
No
no,
companies, none.
no.
Even some of the rumors we heard early last year, right, when we thought the OLED Switch was going to be the 4K one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people seem to have been fudging some of the details. I don't know who or where those lines were crossed, but it is what it is. Uh, so yeah,
Right.
I think I don't think we should even start speculating on what the next console is until we start hearing leaks and developers start talking about it, right? I just think that's what we have to wait for.
it's to me is Ninty talking to Nvidia, and if they're not talking to
They
Nvidia,
are. Nvidia's doing the chipset.
the chipset, because I was about to
Mhm.
say if that would really question everything about their next gen
And
system.
I mean, I think
If
Nintendo
Ninty
also
wasn't
has.
talking to, oh, go ahead.
I just want to say before you move on, like or continue your thought. I don't know if Nintendo was anticipating the success of the Steam Deck, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if they were anticipating this this Asus ROC handheld that everybody's been talking about that runs Windows natively and runs Xbox Game Pass natively, and Windows and Steam games natively. I think that thing's going to be huge for Xbox players in particular,
Oh yeah.
Game Pass subscribers, and including me. That thing looks super interesting. I don't know when that reveal event is happening, but I know Microsoft is going to be there
Mm-hmm.
in some capacity, and like the Xbox team is going to be there in some capacity. If this is some sort of handheld PC that is Windows native and Microsoft can get behind, then I think that's a big game changer for Xbox because, like, as of this recording, people are tearing apart Redfall in the reviews,
Oh,
right?
it's someone said Open Critic is at a 67 right now with some of the reviews. I think the highest right now is a
Mhm.
7.5, but I know the lowest came from GameSpot. I was literally reading it before we hopped on, and I know GameSpot gave it 4 out of 10.
Mhm. A lot of
Right
people are
now.
giving it 4s, 4.5. It's at like a 63 on Metacritic right now,
Hmm.
and that's just that's a shame. Like they should have delayed it. They should have just delayed it. Like, I know Xbox gamers, including me, are disappointed with Xbox's output, but that doesn't mean you put out bad games because people are disappointed. And I don't know if that was the situation or not. Like, they were pressured into putting out a game, and this was
Hmm.
just next on the list, right? But like, Xbox needs a win. They need a win really bad, right? After the CMA blocked their acquisition, and of course
Yeah.
they're appealing it, right? But like, the CMA blocked their acquisition. Redfall is supposedly not great. Uh, it's just Xbox needs a huge win, and they like What's next? Starfield for them, right? In
No,
September.
Forza Motorsports next for
Does that have a
Xbox.
date? What's the date for Forza? I don't think
We're
Forza has
That's
a
what
date.
we're waiting for. It literally supposed to be this summer. Like that when they was doing the developers direct and they
Hmm.
showed Forza and talked about it, they were just like 2020, I think summer 2023. So everybody was waiting for a date where they was dropping it, and they said
Hmm.
nothing. They just still give it that time. So it's like if we're looking for the next big game for Xbox right now after the Red Force release, it's supposed to be Forza Motorsport. But for ZeniMax just itself on Xbox, it's literally going to be Starfield. And man, I literally was thinking about this. Does Microsoft, and I know this is supposed to be into the next Smash Mess, but does Microsoft regret buying ZeniMax? Because
I
your
don't think so.
stuff.
No, look, I don't think so because like Doom is huge, Wolfenstein's huge.
Hmm.
I think Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are pretty big games for them, even though like they came to PlayStation first. I think so. From what I understand, this is the Arcane team that did Prey,
Yes,
and I mean,
and Deathloop.
if people remember, Prey did not launch great either. So, and now people love that game. Not saying that this is what this is going to be, but that Arcane Austin team is not the Arcane that people love, right? And
Hmm.
so, uh, I think I don't think Microsoft regrets it because like they've got two huge service games, right, with Fallout 76, which has grown in popularity over the last couple years. They have
Because the game had
ESO,
to get better.
yeah. They have ESO, right, which is quietly raking in the cash. They have obviously like the Doom games and Wolfenstein
Mm-hmm.
games from id.
Yes.
You have the Quake revival on PC. So they have a lot. Plus like Skyrim, there's probably something new they're going to port Skyrim to soon, right? Like calculators are advanced enough now, right? They can just port it to a calculator or something. Uh and, and yeah, I mean, no, Bethesda's huge. I think the Bethesda acquisition was actually pretty smart
But see,
for
that's
them.
the problem. You saying Bethesda? I'm talking about ZeniMax itself.
Well,
Total. I'm not just.
that
I'm not
is
just talking about. I'm not just talking about one studio. I'm talking
I
about the
know.
whole thing because
I
it
know.
really feels.
I'm talking about ZeniMax as a whole. I'm just using Bethesda because some people
Mm,
out there might not know the name ZeniMax, so I'm just using Bethesda as a term that people might recognize, right? So, yes, ZeniMax, you're talking about id, you're talking about Machine Games, you're talking about Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda or ZeniMax Online, you're talking about they had a mobile studio in there as well.
mm-hmm.
No, I think what they purchased, I think they're happy with that purchase, and I not that I'm a huge, you know, Bethesda publisher fan or anything, but like I think that was a smart move for them. I don't think the uh Activision deal was smart for them, and obviously it's coming back to bite them in the uh to keep it PG, the rear end. I would have much rather seen them spend that money on, when Square Enix sold IDOS Montreal and
Yeah,
Crystal Dynamics. I would have much rather seen them go after someone like them, or uh, who else were we kind of talking about? Would have been a smarter move. Bungie actually probably would have been a smarter move at this point.
that's
Uh,
and that's. I think that was the retaliation for Bethesda. I mean not Bethesda, for ZeniMax with Microsoft, because why would Sony go out and buy Bungie and yet
uh,
complain about Call of Duty? That that's
well,
the that's
d-
the that's the that's just the oddest thing completely.
Well, I mean, Destiny is nowhere near as big as Call of Duty. I know people like to think it is, and I think it's super popular, but it's
Hmm.
it's nowhere near. It's like,
But oh, go ahead, Corey.
oh, I was waiting for you.
Oh, but that's why when we talked about we talk and we will give everybody to the back everybody. But I think the thing with Bungie and with Destiny, and I know Sony wants to create games that's multiplayer focused and everything. Kind of what
Mhm.
Microsoft is somewhat doing with some of their games. I kind of just felt like uh Bungie and Destiny would be the game that they would hold off with content and stuff because of Sony wants to, even though yes they got a contract and they're independent and all of this stuff, Sony still has to say so because they own them. So
Right.
even
Well,
though Bungie wants to make these decisions, if Sony wants to change all of those decisions, they can because Sony owns them.
they
Uh,
they have an out in their contract. That's the thing.
mm,
Is if you look at the Bungie contract, if Sony tries to like interfere too much, they have an out of their contract. So I think Bungie's pretty safe to do what they want to do. I think I think in terms of Game Pass and what the types of games that Bungie is making currently,
yes,
not just Destiny, but the Marathon Revival, Matter, which we really don't know what that is, their PvP game that their hardcore PvP game that they're making. Like Bungie's making a lot of projects that we don't know, and they're making a mobile game with NetEase, which would Microsoft's aiming to get into bigger into the mobile space, right? That's their argument for
yes,
Activision Blizzard King. Uh, I think Bungie would have been a much smarter acquisition, but you also need for single player games to keep those players content, which would have been, Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain, Guardians of the Galaxy, Deus Ex, like Thief. Like these games are
right.
games that and I think you could have matched Thief. Like you look at kind of what the talent that Microsoft has acquired, right? They're really matching studios up to kind of play off of each other, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
Obsidian, right, who's doing the Outer Worlds and Avowed, right, which are literally riffs off of Fallout and uh um Elder Scrolls, right? And you just I just think like if you want and you look at Arcane and they're doing things like Dishonored and Deathloop and Prey, right? Then you could have inserted Eidos Montreal in there with Deus Ex and Thief, right? Those types of games are
Mm-hmm.
similar. And then Tomb Raider fills a huge gap that Microsoft does not have, and that is the third person action game. And yeah, okay, they have Grounded. Hellblade is probably going to fill that void, but Tomb Raider is a much bigger IP than Hellblade will ever be.
See, and I agree with you. The problem with Tomb Raider, it's not the game itself; it's the gamers. They don't care for that game, or they just don't like they don't care for the game, or they like to compare it to Uncharted. Even though as great as it is, because once again, Rise of the Tomb Raider, love that game. I think it's an all-time classic.
Mhm.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, phenomenal game. Along with the records, like the reboot, should deserve more bigger sales and
Mhm.
everything. But regardless, if it was Xbox exclusive, and even when it came to PlayStation, it was on PC, the sale numbers were not there for a
I mean,
big game like that.
the thing is that they are though, right? Like Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Okay,
Mm.
since 2013, the Tomb Raider reboot sold 14.5 million units. Rise of the Tomb Raider sold 11.8 million units, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider sold 9 million units. That's what do you mean the
And,
sales aren't there? I mean,
no,
that's
because
not
as
you.
right,
I mean Square saying that they're
yeah,
not there, right? That's what I'm saying.
and for a lot of people who understand that these big numbers are because it's been multiplayer, and definitely when the game, I mean not multiplayer, multi-console and PC, and definitely people picked up the game when they were really on sale for
Mhm.
for some of them. But then you got like the Tomb Raider collection and everything, which we definitely gonna be talking about on Power Block, um, with the other ones like those mobile game looking ones. Uh, but
Oh,
it's
like the ones that are coming to Switch,
yeah.
the Trials of or Cur what is it? I don't know. Curse of something,
I was
something,
just
something,
like,
something.
these are not the Tomb Raider games that we asked for. We
Yeah,
want
those.
the other three. Now,
Yeah.
I would say this: getting back to the next gen console, that trilogy right there that they have, that would be something I would pay $50 or $40 on Switch Deluxe.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, we finally got the amount of Tomb Raider that we wanted, and it's utilizing all of this. Yes, give it to me.
Right.
Now, would they make it physical? Probably not. If it's only digital, I'll take it.
Hmm.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, who wouldn't play if that thing was still being playable on the go and it still just ran fantastic and looked great, and even if it was just in 1080p undocked, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Nope. I agree. I agree. And to kind of wrap it back around, like Xbox is doing such a great job at cross generation or
Mm-hmm.
backwards
Yes.
compatibility or the ability to scale, right? And so you look at these consoles now, and like I know this, I think if you're hoping that the Switch will be on the same level as PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X right now, I think you are mistaken heavily. But I think if you're looking at something like these handheld PCs, maybe with a solid state drive in there, especially if you're pushing the digital games, uh, I think Nintendo really needs to seriously think about backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next console will be just as, if not more popular than the Switch is now.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, there's things they got to clean up, right? Like the store, they got to clean up. They got to do something. They got to give us more themes. Gosh, themes.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't really care about themes, but
I do. I care about
uh,
things.
I know, and I know a lot of people do. I'm just messing around. I just think that Nintendo needs to do a lot of things the next time around to be not just a great console, but one of the greatest of all times. Which, granted, the Switch is already the best Nintendo console that's ever been made. In my opinion, but
I 140 some sales. I wouldn't doubt that. I would
yeah,
literally
I
agree
mean,
with you.
it's
And
gonna end
shoot.
up being the best selling console of all time. I think probably, especially if they get 2 more years out of it. Right, they only
Mm-hmm.
have to sell 20 million units to beat out PS2 now. So,
Yeah.
which is at sitting just under 150 million. I think it's at 145 or 6 million units.
For
Yeah,
Switch.
no, for PS2, I think it's sitting around 150 million sold. Let me see.
Oh, but Switch is at
PS2
140
total.
something.
No, I think it's at
Uh,
128. All right,
28.
PS2.
Oh,
PS2 is sitting at 158 million units, so that's a little bit more than I thought. Let's see, Switch totals. Oops, total sales. If I can type. Um, let's see. That's February, December, January. Well, let's just look at the February. This is as of February, so yes, we're 3 months out, but the Switch has sold 123 million, so it's got to sell 35 million units in 2.5 years.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if it'll get there, but it might get there. Uh, so
Well,
plus, like,
definitely
I
with
mean,
a lot. Oh, good.
plus you gotta consider like how many people are going to buy when the next console comes out. How many people are going to buy Switch Lights or the inevitable redesign for their kids? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people bought 3DSs for their kids when when the Switch came out, right? So
Yeah, and definitely with like we talked about all the special editions that Nintendo are releasing for Switch. People are buying it. Look, people went and got that got the Tears of the Kingdom one. Someone posted a store they just had them all in the case. I'm like, oh, they're gonna be gone and stuff.
yeah,
So, and we'll probably get some good numbers for that and everything. And before Switch even like gets phased out, I think there'll probably be more bigger sales and stuff. For it. So,
yeah. I mean,
I oh,
all they have to do is do like a they just need some sort of smart, cheap redesign, right?
mhm.
And I mean, look at the 2DS, right? The 2DS and the 2DS XL. Remember when they made the clamshell 2DS? We unboxed it
Yes,
on a very early episode of Nintendo Power Watch, like a year in, I think, 2 years
I
in.
still like that system. That one
I
was
know
really
it's sitting on my
nice.
desk. It's sitting on my desk in the case. In the case,
Yay!
it's not charged. I don't know why, but see, it's right here. It's
Yes.
Man, this little console is so cool. I really like it. I just Man, once you see the 720p OLED screen, it's hard to go back to a 3DS. Really hard.
That's true. That really is true.
I gotta find my charger for this thing. I don't know where it's at. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Next gen just needs to. I really hope Nintendo is like considering things. I think this regime
Mm-hmm.
of Nintendo is really trying to be smarter about hardware. Um, and so I hope that they take the necessary steps to make the next console backwards
Right.
compatible.
Right. Because I don't think Nintendo could go back to a box system and then
They
separate
can't.
their. They no.
They can't do that at this point unless you're going to directly compete with Microsoft and Sony in every conceivable way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hardware, online service, storefront, multiplayer, voice chat, all the things that you would expect from Xbox
Bells
or
and
PlayStation,
whistles.
right? Yes.
Yes.
Then you can't compete with them directly, right? So yeah, that's yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. And yes, I know we started off with Metroid and we took some twists and turns, but it literally shows that definitely with Nintendo, um, like just with Metroid, just with um their next system. I think that's why when it comes to acquiring companies and things, Nintendo's not big on it. If they want to acquire something, they're going to do something small that no one thinks about, and then people could have their talking points. But they're not trying to go out and get the big people. What ends up happening is that some of the big people who are at the other companies leave. It ends up probably at Nintendo and everything. Like we said, Metroid Prime 4. I'm like, you got someone from Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. I'm like, that's big. That really is big. And knowing that information, if they are holding it back and they are going to do it cross gen and they know how to make that game run on their next console, it would definitely be interesting to see, because then that's what you use to lead people into wanting your console and everything. And they seen the success of Breath of the Wild. You could release both versions on the same day.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
people.
I still have my Wii U copy of Breath of the Wild. You know,
Same. Like
sealed.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said it's
Oh, you.
sealed.
Yeah. Like I think Nintendo's just like, if they double dip on it, even if it's backwards compatible or anything, if they double dip on it, let's just say they go to the $170 price point. Just say, I mean, not 170, sorry, the $70 price point. That's 140 plus some dollars for Nintendo. But it would be kind of actually 60, 70, depending on how that goes. It really depends on what Nintendo and Retro are going to do for that game. You know, because once Nintendo Switch Deluxe come out, the whole conversation about cross gen and backwards compatible is gonna be different, because we're gonna have opinions about it, but when we actually see it and get to play it, that's when we'll be able to talk about it more. But for now, for this conversation that we're gonna wrap up, I Corey believes that it's going to be cross gen. I don't think it will. I think it'll be Switch exclusive. Um, but I will say we're definitely going to be looking forward to a Nintendo Direct. We will see what happens in 3 years, 2 or 3 years, because they were hiring a ad for hiring an engineer for current and cross and next gen game console and stuff. Like Nintendo's probably getting ready to be like, okay, let's get some people together. What do not only we need to utilize our games for our system, but what will everybody else need? Because right now, regardless of what the Microsoft and Activision deal is, EA, this is your chance to redeem yourself. I'm just gonna say that, because right now, if Switch Deluxe had the bells and whistles, and Square Enix was just like, well, we know this game didn't sell well, but we know that our games do get a lot of marketing and talk. Could we see something like Forspoken on a Nintendo console? And the reason why could we see it, would that give, even if they have fixes everything, would that give that title better press and talking? Because what if Forspoken did come on Switch Deluxe and it got a better ranking than the PS5 version? Because next gen, Square Enix is paying attention to Nintendo. They literally are paying attention to Nintendo, and you know the indie games are going to be there. Nintendo going to be still highlighting indie games and everything, and they know how important it is from indies around the world to be on that platform and to be to get that visualization for sales and everything. So, but yeah, Metroid Prime 4. I'm excited for the trailer whenever they show it, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know anything that Nintendo's doing, do we? After Breath of the Wild, besides Pikmin,
yeah, Pikmin is the only one.
I mean, that's the last one.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be really.
Was there another? No, that wasn't another Kirby game. That's right.
I mean, I'm sure there will be 3 or 4 more before this console dies. But, there might be 3 or 4 next month. We don't know. So yeah, I mean, it's boy, you know.
Oh dang nabbit! I forgot to actually throw this in. Because if we know that Bayonetta 3 wrapped up, I feel like Bayonetta 4 is going to be next gen Nintendo. It's going to be Switch Deluxe.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might, right? Like, I think Bayonetta deserves a better console to be on. You know, not that Bayonetta 3 was bad, you know, but I do know that game was hindered by the character models look great, and some of the action stuff looked great. The environments of that game, especially when you got into like open cities and stuff, were literally textured squares. Like, I don't know how else to describe some of the cityscapes in that game. So yeah, Bayonetta's cool, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Bayonetta, Xenoblade 4, maybe Minor Lost next game is the Swan Song. Maybe we should have a discussion on that. What is the Swan Song list of games from Nintendo before their next gen drops?
Yeah. Maybe. Well, we should write that down. Write that down.
Yes. But everybody, that's going to be it for this expansion pass for Nintendo. Thank you, Corey, for that discussion. I know we focus a little bit more on Microsoft, but Microsoft is literally important in the gaming sphere, especially to Nintendo. So, like, whether people like it or not, they are important to the gaming sphere and to Nintendo, because once again, they have a good partnership. And if Microsoft those be like, Nintendo, we want to do your cloud service, and Nintendo is there, that's going to be something that we would definitely be talking about and digging in. And maybe that's how we'll get Game Pass on Nintendo. Maybe that's how we'll get Call of Duty. Who knows? But
no, well,
but
the agreement. Oh, the agreement says native. So
okay.
So we'll
with that. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Nintendo Expansion Pass is part of Nintendo Power Block and is a product of Boss Rush Media LLC. The show is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio, and is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-host is Corey Dirrig. You can find Corey at I Am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. Follow Expansion Pass as part of Nintendo Power Block and on all social media platforms at Power Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.